Cafe's been here since 1945. We think it actually opened in fall of '44. It's just one of those places that small towns need sometimes, and it's a lot of fun. But you know, the athletes come in, the coaches come in. It's you walk in here and you're going to know somebody. Right here's one of your biggest Cowboy fans.
Really?
He's from Fort Worth.
Oh, are you really?
I'm from Fort Worth. And he came to start with being a big time major in Dallas.
I mean, there's Cowboy fans everywhere, but I'm sure there's a few more here than there were this time last year.
You don't understand. Thanksgiving Day, we would be at my in-laws' house, and they're all college MSU fans. Well, Dallas always plays on Thanksgiving.
Right.
So 3 years ago, we were all sitting around the living room watching TV, and there's 4 of us watching the game. This last year, when Dak playing, there was 27 of us watching the game, and everybody rooting for the Cowboys.
That sounds.
Nobody was NFL fans. So,
yes, it helps to feel like you know somebody.
Wow, how ironic is that? I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
It says, how about, I mean, it's.
Oh, yeah. But you know, that's the cool thing about it is, man, he got in there. It's like, where did this guy come from?
This off y'all's Twitter account. I want to show it to everybody that I talk to while I'm here.
Is that him? Here, watch. Open the first page of that book. You'll laugh.
Wow. That's the guy I want to hear about.
On the left? The before?
Yeah. That is a difference.
Player development.
So, I would love to start by just asking for your very first impression or memory of Dak, whether it was as a recruit or once he got here.
Dak Prescott, 6'3", 215 from Houghton, Louisiana, quarterback.
There's a young guy from Houghton, Louisiana, John Hevesy, our line coach. That was his area, recruited him, and he said, hey, I got this guy that the coaches are raving about. He runs the ball, he's a tough physical runner, he's a winner, he has all the it factor. He really fits, you know, the type of quarterbacks that we look for and that we've been really successful with.
In the whole thing, recruiting him, watching the film of him, you saw he's a competitor. That's what you saw. Now, was he a great thrower? Was he a great runner? It was kind of, we always said, he does everything well.
What I'm seeing is a before picture during recruiting. What I'm envisioning is the after picture and what that person can become. So I'm like, okay, we watch his film, think he's a solid player, got to get him to camp to see what he can do. And he comes to camp and wows you with his personality, but you know, he didn't throw the ball very well at all.
Even when I went and watched the practice, and after practice was like, I mean, that was awful. I said, I mean, you're throwing like a girl now. This is done. I mean, I can't go back with this crap. I said, you got to do better than this in practice. And he's like, what? You know, there's probably people in recruiting telling him, oh, you're just great. I mean, you're great, you're good, you're good. And I'm like, that was terrible, man. I said, I can't even put that on film, so I'm going to come back next week and do it again. I said, so I can't go back and I'm standing at the table for this one. And that's what you want me to do? So I guess I was yelling at him before he even got here. And then when he came to camp, the same thing. I stood behind him. I said, listen, you better not let this one down now. I said, I'm standing at the table, whatever you got, and don't you choke it on this one. He's like, gotcha, I won't. And I mean, so it was a different relationship in terms of, I guess, that true recruiting of telling him everything he wants to hear to hey, do this.
Coach Mullen and Coach Hevesy both seem like genuine people. They were telling me things like, I'm going to work the hardest I've ever worked in my life. They were going to put me on the field until the time was ready. Basically not just trying to feed me stuff just to get me to go to Mississippi State. They were selling me on what their program would do for me.
And so we worked with him at camp, because I was excited to want to love him. You know, I'm like, God, I want to love this guy. And we have our big dog camp where we kind of have all the top players come in later July. So about, 6 to 8 weeks later. I'm like, we want to invite you back to that and come to this camp.
But that camp, he took over, whatever, there's 250 kids at camp. And we do a thing with them, bring them in the weight room. And all the kids in the weight room, he doesn't know any of them. And 250 kids listen to him.
So we leave the weight room and we're getting ready to go on the field, and our strength coach comes to me and he's like, Dak Prescott, that's who we want. Offer him. We need to offer him to be our quarterback. We want him to be our quarterback. And I'm thinking, God, I hope he throws the ball a little bit better than he did last time he was here.
He left that June camp here when we offered him and went straight to LSU with camp. And again, he wasn't the 5-star kid running around. And at that time, he went in there with, from what I've understood, is 3 or 4 guys that were there that they wanted there. And they kind of pushed him off and said, hey, we got our 3 here that we got to work out. You're 4, go over there. And that annoyed him tremendously. Like, these guys don't want me.
Being from Louisiana, a bunch of my family was LSU fans. And then the LSU coach, I was 17 at the time, so the LSU coach recruited my mom harder than he recruited me because she actually had to sign the paper.
I coach him hard, but not like Mom. I mean, Mom, day one I met her, Mom threatened me. The recruiting trip, my wife will tell you, their official visit here, she sat in the backseat of my car and yelled at me and my wife for an hour. I don't know if I ever even told Dak that, was just sat there and he wants to come here. I want him close to home. He wants to come here, main part because of you. So I'm telling you now, and I'm like, I don't know, in the 24 years I've been threatened. It's like, he wants to come here and I'm putting this on you.
I mean, it wasn't easy. I remember anytime I talked to other family members, my mom wouldn't let them talk to me about sports. It was either you're talking to Dak to genuinely ask about him, but don't bring up recruiting or anything because everybody wanted me to go somewhere and she wanted me to eventually make the decision on my own.
Who's all offered you so far, Dak? Just Memphis, a bunch of Division II schools, like all the Southland schools, McNeese, Northwestern State, and North Texas.
What all D1 schools are showing you interest besides Memphis?
Memphis, LSU, and TCU.
TCU State?
Yes, sir.
What'd you talk about coming up here, man, and your experience up here today?
I was just going to try to get closer with the coaches. I mean, I have a pretty good relationship with them, and I like the school. Everything looks pretty good, and being a nice place to stay.
He's a little older than he was, maturity-wise, than he was his age. And you see that with a lot. I mean, I've seen that over the years with kids, certain kids, that even though they're 17, they're mature kids. I've had recruited 18-year-olds that are mature, I've recruited 16-year-olds that are mature, but he was mature in his decision process and what he felt he was making the right decision for him and what was right, not making a decision for Mom. I mean, Mom blessed the decision, but he was mature in his decision-making process. That's probably it, because any other kid would have been like, oh, which I've done that too. It didn't matter. The minute they offered, hey, I'm done, I'm out, I'm going there.
We can coach him and help him get better at the skill part set, but I can't coach him to have that factor where the strength coach is like, this is the guy we want leading our program. I can't coach all of those things.
I'm a man of my word, and that's one thing that I embraced and want to portray and get across and wanted to then. But for me, it was picking the right school for my future, for my life.
During that year that he was redshirting on the scout team, you could see that he was going to have a chance to be a quarterback in the future. Gets on the field a little bit here and there, and we kind of give him a role. We had Tyler Russell, who was more of your prototypical drop-back quarterback. So we kind of had some small packages for Dak to let him go in and run the ball.
I mean, it's all good. I like to run the ball just as much as throwing the ball, so it's fun.
Is that from today, or that scratching your neck, or what?
I haven't seen it, but yeah, it's from today, I guess.
So you didn't get off entirely free?
No, not at all. They hit me a little bit.
Is this kind of a springboard for you, though, really, because now that the serious bowl camp starts, was this your chance to sit there, from now on till spring, it's my time to step up?
Yes, sir. I feel like I got to go in there, show what I can do a little bit, get my reps, and just play.
Very similar. We took the similar approach with Tim, where all of a sudden his freshman year, he didn't play a whole lot. Now he got a lot of, and the funny thing was different. Tim got a lot of accolades because that was a national championship team, and he came in and would play anywhere from maybe 8 to 10 plays a game, but would come in at critical moments of the game and make big plays. And so he started to get a lot of accolades on that type of team, where Dak was really in the same plan, where, hey, I can get you on the field put you into a situation where you can do some things you're going to do well, not put you through complex passing reads and all of that, just and give you confidence of being out there on the field in big games, and so we can build off that going into the offseason. But then, he had another year where he was really needed to develop to become entrenched as the backup.
Les said that, we know you and Tyler are pretty close, but Les said it's to the point that he calls you brothers and you go get on each other about stuff. And, it's a pretty good relationship considering you're kind of competing for playing time.
Yeah, we don't think about the playing time. I said something the other day about being the backup quarterback, and he said, you're not the backup quarterback, you're the other quarterback. And so, we're brothers, and it goes beyond the field. So when we get on the field, we're going to push each other to be great. And if he messes up, I'm going to let him know, and vice versa. So it's just about pushing each other, trying to get better.
How do you approach 2 days? Do you go in thinking that you can challenge for the starting job, or do you kind of think, hey, Tyler's got the job, I'm just going to try and maybe steal a little bit of playing time from him?
I'm not going to be complacent with myself, I'm going to push, and whatever comes out in the end. But like I said, the starting job, I'm going to leave that to Coach Kenny and Coach Mullen. But I'm going to push Tyler and make sure he gets better, and I do the same each day.
He trusted what we were saying. We weren't lying to him. We weren't sugarcoating it. Here's exactly what it is. But like I told him, I said, I'm telling you, this is who I am, and this is what you're going to get. If I got to yell at you about something, I yell at you. Academically, listen, you're getting a C in this class is unacceptable. Get a B because you should get a B. And it's like, yes, sir. And I said, I'll just tell Mom. I got you. Yeah, so it was between the three of us doing it was I could threaten him with Mom. He didn't want her on him because that was her baby. And that's kind of the way Ho was through her being sick, and everything was, don't you say anything to him, don't you tell him. I'll tell him, I'm his mother. And you say a word, I'm coming after you. I'm like, Peggy, I understand.
We knew, we just told the families, hey, let us know when you're going to let him know what's going on, so that we can make sure we're there for him and have the right support there for him. But it wasn't our place to overstep our bounds. So we were playing. We knew that she was coming near the end and things were really bad. We were playing South Carolina, and we get a call Saturday night that it's really, really bad, and hey, we're not sure what's going to happen. So Sunday morning, I get in the office, we had a call from the family and saying, hey, his mom passed, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, where is he at? They're like, we haven't told him yet. At that time, we had people here for him, whether it was coaches, our wives, some of his teammates there to support him, put their arm around him. We had a game the next weekend, and so it's kind of tough. You got to prepare for that game. But myself and a couple of the guys, my wife and all, we went down to the funeral. And after the funeral, he wanted to get back with us and get him play, come home. He had to get to practice that afternoon, and I'm looking, I'm saying, as coach, I want to try to, again, I'm trying to protect him. And he's like, Coach, my mom would be so mad if I wasn't ready to play this game this weekend. So I got to go get ready to play, so we brought him back and went out to practice. But one thing I also noticed right here, a lot about football players too, that practice field's a safe haven. And so the guys that go through tragedy, a Dak that loses his mom, gets back out on the field, they're kind of in their safe place. It was just such a tough time to make sure that we're always around him and that the team was here to support him, that he knew he had family that was always going to be there for him here, and not just his family back at home.
Probably 2013 is probably the most vital point, I guess you can say, or period in my life, or year, or even not even a full year, a few months, from dreams coming true of being an SEC starting quarterback to losing your mom. Just so much from it's helped build my character that year, of the adversity, the ups and the downs, and then obviously it did so much for my career. Of sometimes I played one of my worst games that year, and I played probably one of my best games that year.
He came in to the Egg Bowl, the Egg Bowl game in 2013. Hadn't even taken a snap in about 4 to 5 weeks. We're down. He comes on the field, leads us 2 fourth quarter drives, and wins the game in overtime.
mean, that was an amazing moment. I think that's the first moment I really felt like everything was coming around of why I went to Mississippi State, I think, at that moment.
He started to get an aura about him. When he stepped on the field, things changed. You just started to see, here's a guy now that's ready to be a quarterback. He leads Mississippi State to be #1 in the country. You know, we're college game day. He's doing interviews every day.
What about the added importance because when you're facing a triple option attack, they're not conducive really to coming from behind. So is it more important for you in that regard to, you know, starting quick?
Oh yeah, very, very important. Just because, like you said, we get a good lead on them, get ahead a couple of touchdowns, then they have to get away from their offense, and they can't control the ball as much. So it's very important for us to get going fast.
How are these first couple of practices going for you guys out here?
They've been good. I mean, last night was short. Just came out here night, had some fun, got going, throw the ball around a little bit. And today was a good, tough practice. Getting used to the heat, but we had a great practice, I think.
Mississippi State, in 100 and however many years of football we've had here, had never been #1 team in the country. And he led Mississippi State to this #1 ranking. Hadn't been to an Orange Bowl since the 40s. He's kind of, as the quarterback, you get a lot of the credit for the success.
I'll never forget when Coach Mullen told me that we had CBS, we had all the ESPN, game day, everybody was at Mississippi State that year. We're #1. It was like, if you don't want the attention, just throw 3 interceptions next week. And it just and that sat in, and it just kind of went with the way I already thought of it as, these people are here, the cameras are here, this is all here because I'm playing good football. If I want to be greater, I better embrace it now because all this comes more and more and more.
He decides to come back for a senior year. We lose on the final play of the game to LSU that year. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, they're not gonna be the #1 team in the country this year. That's gonna hurt their championship run. He was such a better player. I mean, he went from being a junior year Heisman candidate, all of this. I think he came back his senior year and he was so much better. I mean, not night and day better player his senior year from his junior year. And yet he wasn't doing all the interviews. He wasn't the leading Heisman candidate. He wasn't All-American this and All-American that. He understands that it's really about, you know, your performance. You got to judge your performance because all the outside hype is not judging your performance. It's kind of judging the hype of the team. And if he can keep that mindset, he's going to continue to grow and succeed.
Dak Prescott.
Did you ever think that you would leave probably the most beloved player in Mississippi State history?
I mean, I don't know if I ever thought I'd leave the most beloved player, but I have high expectations for myself. So going into Mississippi State, I wanted to win championships, compete for championships, play for a #1 team as we were able to do so. So, I mean, I had high expectations, so I didn't think anything was out of the ordinary that we did, beyond my thoughts and expectations.
Did you have a favorite NFL team growing up? I know you're losing a guy at the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I was a Cowboys fan, so obviously playing on the South, going against the Cowboys this week, I'm not a fan of them right now, so I got to go beat them.
Here's the South offense with Mississippi State's Dak Prescott at quarterback.
Spoke to Jason Garrett on the field before the game, and I kind of teased him. I said, you've had 6 extra days the rest of the league didn't have with these kids, so if you mess up in the draft, I'm all over you. And he started laughing. He said, Mike, I told our staff, if we mess up, it's on us. You know, all the quarterback conversations, we've talked Carson Wentz ad nauseum. There's 4 potential first-round quarterbacks. Then I've got Hackenberg and Cardale Jones kind of as wildcats. And then there's a whole group of guys where the GMs are all going, okay, who is the next Kirk Cousins? Who's that 3rd, 4th round guy that can lead a team to the playoffs? And I think, Charles, you start looking at the guys in this game. Okay, Dak Prescott I find intriguing.
Southpaw up 10-3. Mississippi State's Dak Prescott finds Southeast Missouri State's Paul McRoberts. Gain of 14 and a first down. Those two not done. 3 plays later, 25 seconds left in the half.
Hey, Prescott, though, what he's doing now.
He put it in there. Feeling it.
On behalf of the Reese's brand, we are pleased to present you, Dak, with the most outstanding player of the 2016 Reese's Senior Bowl.
Look at that. Some nice little hardware. And you get also, right?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. The money Reese's. Well, Dak, just tell us a little bit about you came in and seemed to spark this offense when you got into the game.
Yeah, it was fun. These guys, I mean, they're fun to play with. Created some great relationships all throughout the week. And just be able to get in there, them rally around me in that 2-minute offense, and I'll be able to go score and get the team going. It was fun.
College behind you now in the rearview mirror, and you look ahead to the NFL draft. What do you do between now and then?
It's going to be a lot of hard work, just continue to get better in every aspect.
On draft day, I remember sitting there, and Coach Dooley calls me, who I'd known from being a head coach in this league. And he's like, hey, are you free? And I was actually just playing catch out here, right here on the field with my son. And at our practice field, I had to be over here for a recruiting deal, and playing catch with my son. I'm like, sure. He's like, okay. I got Coach Lenahan wants to go through some things with you. I said, all right, we go through with him. Then I got the quarterback coach wants to talk to you about different things. Okay? And all of a sudden it gets disconnected. Call back a couple minutes later. Okay, Coach Garrett needs you. I'm going to call you back in 5 minutes, Coach Garrett. I said, okay, I'm great.
Are we questioning Dak's ability to react?
The manifestation for me is this. He's over here, he looks at this, I throw to Chris Hall, I stare at him.
And then bang.
Then I throw. If you looked at Troy Aikman coming out of school, he probably did the same thing. Look at it, verify it, okay. John Elway, there's a whole history of these guys have done that. And he's a hell of a kid in terms of self-awareness. He said, I went there, said, I'm Mississippi State, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to take this place by storm. He said, and so he really evolved. He was humbled by that early on, learned. It got to the point where I believe he graduated, and then he said, I went in and game plan with the coaches and spent all my time in football. It's my last year.
In the back of my mind, I'm like, boy, wouldn't that be amazing? Because here you go. I know how hard he's going to work, and he gets to go into a great organization, right? And he gets to go into an organization with a veteran quarterback that's at the back end of his career. So he gets to sit, for maybe 2 to 3 years and really groom, because I know how hard he's going to work, and then he gets to go be the guy.
How do you start making him able to get on the field with us? What do you do? What do you work on with him? Or how do you make him into somebody that fits for us? Or if we're going to play him and we're committed to playing him, are we going to develop some things that are more for him and less to our system?
Well, I think we would take part of our system and it could be virtually identical to what he's run there. I don't think mentally he has any issues. And then we have all the base plays that they have. We could run the stuff 2x2, 3x1 shotgun passing game is virtually identical. Where he would give you an advantage is he gives you a chance in you probably would look at some of the zone read type stuff where you give him a chance to run the football. And you get, from some of those spread out looks, you create him as a runner, you deal with an extra guy in the box, and, some of the stuff that you see Carolina do and some of the stuff you see some of these other teams who have these movement quarterbacks. And that would be a way to kind of get him into the game and sweating and a little, get his heart rate going in a positive way.
Dak Prescott, please.
This is he.
Dak, Will McClay with the Dallas Cowboys. I got somebody who wants to speak to you. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Dak, this is Jerry Jones, and you're a Dallas Cowboy.
How you doing?
Listen, we're glad you're here, excited about it, and you've had a really outstanding career there at Mississippi State, but we are excited about it. We've got really, and your coordinator and your head coach, all of them quarterbacks, they'll really be able to give you some great coaching.
Yes, sir. I'm excited.
I'm glad you are, because we're excited about it too. Okay? You're a
Yes, sir. I appreciate
great
it.
young man. Come in ready to give it all on the line. You're at a time in your life right now where there ought to be the number one thing in your mind is to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Dak.
What's up, Coach?
Congrats, man.
Appreciate it.
You excited?
I am. Trust me.
I know you are. Had a feeling this might happen.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, sometimes, people belong together, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Hey, it's going to be fun. You get ready to go. We're going to be slinging it around here in about 4 days. Hey,
appreciate it, Coach.
Hey, look forward to it. You got my number, right?
Right, yes, sir.
So call me, text me.
I don't have yours. I have Coach Wilson's.
Yes!
Yes, sir.
How about them Cowboys?
Mom, turn it up. Our Dallas Cowboys select Dak Prescott.
It was one of those deals I thought it was too good to be true, that it wasn't going to happen. That I almost was betting that I went to 2 or 3 other NFL teams because I just knew that it wasn't going to happen because it was the Dallas Cowboys and I wanted to go to the Dallas Cowboys. So for it all to happen, it was humbling. It was a dream come true.
Top 10. That's right. 50 Cent this thing. Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm gonna go Sonic.
What's up, man?
Thank you so much.
Hold it against
that. Thank you so much, man.
Another line drive.
Thanks for coming back.
Can you sign my shirt? You can't get through that. What's up, man? You ain't gonna say nothing? You being all quiet. I didn't even know who that was. You got it this way. We're fine. Look here.
here in Mississippi and you're in the South here, football's a religion. And I mean, college football, SEC football is a religion, and you are it.
Good to see you.
Did you really?
Take care. Tell Lola I love you. Tell Lola hello.
Okay, Dak Prescott.
What's up, brother? How you doing, Devin? Nice to meet you, Devin.
Nice to meet you.
You
What's my name?
If it looks like a computer, I'm a psychic. Devin counts.
Oh, my favorite team.
Got you.
I watch you football. I play for my favorite team.
That's the best team. That was my favorite team. Look, Devin, let's do it.
I'm for talk for everybody today.
My husband played 10 years in the NFL. His name is Michael Haddix. We are Dak fans, but we still are Eagle fans also. So remember that when we play Philadelphia Eagles, okay?
So if the Cowboys play the Eagles, who are you rooting for?
Dak
and the Eagles.
And the Eagles. If you play with the Eagles, the Eagles paying our bills right now. So we we root for the Eagles, but we root for Dak also. We love Dak, okay?
Can somebody take this for us, please?
First round pick right here.
I know you did. I know you boy Derek.
Do you see me?
You saw my ball right there.
Right there, you got exact spot for it.
It's the Dak ball.
Let's take it. 4 or 15, which one?
4. 15. 15, that's right.
Whatever.
Remember who's not seeing you.
Exactly, the Whitworth. She said you're a picture. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So.
Yeah, let's take a picture real quick.
Come on.
Hold on, wait a second. I'm not sure we'll ever see anything like him again, just when you look at the entire body of work and the entire package that he brings. Now look, Tim Tebow had a great career at Florida, a very similar type of player, great career, okay, but let's add a couple of things around him. You know, he had University of Florida athletes around him from the minute he got there. Sure. And then he went to the NFL as a first rounder. You know, Dak Prescott goes to the NFL as a fourth rounder. Right. And, you know, again, I think his story is unlike anybody maybe that's ever played at Mississippi State for sure, but maybe even in the entire Southeastern Conference.
He's honestly the best SEC quarterback when he was here. I honestly thought he was really going to destroy the NFL. But going 13-3 is pretty crazy.
So if the Cowboys were playing the Saints, who would you root for?
That's going to be tough, honestly. I'm originally a Saints fan, but honestly, I don't know who I'd go for. Honestly, I'd probably go for Dak because he's closer to me because of State. I went to go see Drew Brees play once. I'm not really as close, you know, like they're in New Orleans. Dak played for Starkville, so it's honestly the best thing in sports for me because it's just so close to you, you know. That's the reason why, because we're in a small place. We're in Mississippi, where not a lot of things happen. It's basically music and sports. That's probably it for us.
What does Dak mean to the school?
Everything.
We need to go put it down somewhere?
That's going to go in our office. Do something like thank stock or something like that.
There's Chad and Rusty or something. How's your family?
Good, everyone's doing good.
Tell them I said hi. They're always very nice to me.
Hey, have you had any time like the fishing?
Yeah, I just went fishing.
Red fishing?
2 weeks ago, or last week.
That's good. Keep doing that stuff. Don't ever forget about that.
You gotta get time.
Oh, hell
Yeah.
Yeah. You in Louisiana?
Yeah, Louisiana. My brother's
big bulls.
My high school coach got the biggest one.
This was taken in the here in this stadium after the Tim Tebow interview in the middle of the field before the Texas A&M game.
What year was that?
14, his junior year. Before it all started, I think it highlights family. Yesterday, we were here, I was downtown Starkville shopping, and I saw this t-shirt, and it just says, family, it's a Mississippi thing, and it had an M-State logo on it. And I bought it, I had to buy it, because that's what means the most to me, because it's different. It's different here.
You know, he will always have a home here. He will always have a family here. These people will always support him. And long after his professional career is over, he will come out here for football games and get standing ovations from 60,000 people, and he'll always be a part of this family.
After my mom had passed, all the support and everything I had, I tweeted one day, Mississippi State doesn't have fans, we have family. And that's where it comes from, is that this is why I chose the school. This is why when I came on my visit, I felt at home. This is why the people that treated me that way, I felt genuine, because they're still treating me this way 3 years later. And so that's what I meant, is it's family. It's not some fan that doesn't know anything about you. It's somebody that knows a lot about you and that cares about you on and off the field.
To me, you know, I know that the 19-year-old and 20-year-old that's dealing with losing his mom from cancer, not the national spotlight person. I mean, I know the one that, hey, my wife's gonna be the one to call him Christmas morning because his mom's not there to call him Christmas morning. This is kind of funny. So I'm with my wife, we're going to sleep, and she was texting him, and he's like, I just closed on my house, I'm buying my house today, right? And she's like, okay, do I need to come out there to help get it set up? He goes, no, I have I have family and lovers setting it up. I'm like, boy, that doesn't sound very good. I said, we get the lovers. I said, I'm really concerned about who's doing what and picking out what in your house. Maybe you do need to get out there and go set it up right away. And a minute later, text back, movers, typo. The movers are setting it up. I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit better about it right now.
Anybody, if they truly care about somebody, is going to check on them and going to want to ask, can they do something for them? And that's what I got from thousands and thousands of people from the state of Mississippi, or just fans of Mississippi State in general. As I said, they're family. They weren't Mississippi State fans, they were family. They became my family, therefore they're still fans, no matter if I'm playing for the Cowboys, if I went to some other team, or if I ever go to another team, that they will be fans of that team because they're fans of me.
I mean, he's not Dak Prescott, the superstar. You know, he's just Dak Prescott, you know, the family member. I don't know if there's a player in the NFL with more pressure on him than Dak Prescott in the NFL this year. Second year in the league, supposed to be on a great team, has this unbelievable rookie year. He's now the guy. They want to see him perform.
I know he's going to work. I know he's going to do his job. That makes me want to do my job a little more.
I've always, in everything I did, tried to be the hardest working person or player, or whatever it may be in that field. So, and I think off of that, it's given me the ability for people to follow me.
Look in the huddle. I mean, they're smiling, they're laughing. 11 of them in the huddle smiling and laughing. And then they go play.
I've never been somebody that really cares or even thinks much about what I did in the past. To me, it's always about trying to find a way to get better.
He has lit the NFL world on fire, but he's never forgotten where he came from, who he is, and the kind of person that he is. He's someone, in my opinion, that any parent would aspire for their son to grow up and be just like Dak Prescott.
Cafe's been here since 1945. We think it actually opened in the fall of '44. It's just one of those places that small towns need sometimes, and it's a lot of fun. But you know, the athletes come in, the coaches come in. It's you walk in here and you're gonna know somebody.
Right here's one of your biggest Cowboy fans.
Really?
He's from Fort Worth.
Oh, are you really?
I'm from Fort Worth. And he came to Starkville being a big time major in Dallas.
I mean, there's Cowboy fans everywhere, but I'm sure there's a few more here than there were this time last year.
You don't understand. Thanksgiving Day, we would be at my in-laws' house, and they're all college MSU fans. Well, Dallas always plays on Thanksgiving.
Right.
So 3 years ago, we were all sitting around the living room watching TV, and there's 4 of us watching the game. This last year, when Dak playing, there was 27 of us watching the game, and everybody rooting for the Cowboys.
That sounds.
Nobody was NFL fans. So
yes, it helps. It helps to feel like you know somebody.
Wow, how ironic is that? I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
It says, how about, I mean, it's.
Oh, yeah. But you know, that's the cool thing about it is